Night in the Woods is an adventure game focused on exploration, story, and character. This is the summary on Steam. But it's so much more than that. It's so much more than just a game. In the common sense, it's a story you get first seat tickets to. The story centers around the main character, you, known as May Borowski. After returning home for some mysterious reason, you seek to reclaim your former life and reconnect with the friends you leave behind. Except, as we all learn growing up, the world doesn't stay the same when you leave. Times change and people change. The hometown you leave behind isn't always the hometown you go back to. The gameplay definitely takes a back seat, and the overall aspect of gameplay is pretty boring. Aside from a really cool minigame featuring Guitar Hero, all you really do is walk and jump. This is a game that focuses more on the story, about exploring a small town and all the townsfolk. I've experienced a lot of games where the dialogue is just stale and boring. Night in the Woods takes those games and throws them in the trash. The dialogue is so crisp and clean, and it stays true to each character. You really get a distinction between them. I found myself connecting with each character and seeing something of myself in most of them. The interactions that happened between characters mimic real life situations, and you can really feel yourself getting into each conversation. There are different options with the most important piece of dialogue, and while there are really no wrong answers, it does pave the way for future playthroughs. There are a few quirks that come with this game, and I feel they are overall important to deciding if it's the right game for you. As I said before, the gameplay is pretty much non-existent. You walk, you jump, and you interact. There's no real action gameplay going on here, with the main objective being the story and the characters. The game really wants you to explore the town and really get to know the townsfolk. There are some really neat minigames that are featured, but more than half the game is just exploration. Aside from the gameplay, some players might have trouble with piecing together the whole plot if you don't explore literally everything possible. The world of Night in the Woods holds so many clues to the main story, you'll really lose out on the ending if you don't explore. Overall, this game was worth the experience. While the lack of gameplay was boring, the drive to understand who these characters were and what was going on in this town really kept me going. The fact that I personally felt I could connect with some features of each character really filled my immersion. I wasn't too fond of the ending, but the game really tied itself together. The music was beautifully done, and the animation was actually amazing. I definitely recommend this game if you're looking to sit back, relax, and be a part of an incredible journey.